Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Susan Taylor, and I'm a longtime client and now friend of Jackie Peterson, who will be presenting to you today. I have just met the co-presenter, Doug Lundrigan, who is a wonderful guy, and you'll be hearing from him along with Jackie. A couple of housekeeping issues. If you have questions as we go, please type them into the chat. I will collect them, and at the end of the webinar, I will pass them on to Jackie, and she will answer as many as she can. And secondly, if for any reason you either have to leave this recording early or you get interrupted in the middle by some piece of business, this webinar is being recorded, and it will be available later. You can start it and stop it and rewind it, which is a very nice feature, and it will look terrific. So that's a very good deal for anybody who has to leave quickly. And secondly, if for any reason the webinar begins to look a little blurry or less sharp, that's a function of streaming. It's not a problem with your computer. It's not a problem with your eyes. It's simply the state of technology with streaming, which we are doing with this webinar today. I think that's everything I need to say except welcome. And Jackie, it's all yours now.
Oh, thank you, Susan. I'm delighted to be here today, and I really want to thank my co-presenter and sponsor, Doug Lundrigan. Let me introduce you to Doug. Doug is the owner of Lighthouse Business Services, and he says that he's been an entrepreneur since the age of 15. Boy, Doug, it's in your blood. And over his life, he started 12 businesses. He said some were more successful than others. I know about that one. And that he also has spent 26 years in corporate settings, and he's done everything from frontline sales to having leadership roles. And he just has a passion for bringing leadership teams to their optimal business functioning together. Now, he says he's in his encore solo career. We're going to talk a lot about that today. And he founded Lighthouse Business Solutions, where he serves as a cardiologist for business, and he does business diagnosis and treatment of business diseases of the heart. Welcome, Doug.
Oh, thanks, Jackie. It's so great to be with you, and I appreciate the opportunity to share this time.
Well, I'm thrilled, and I'm just absolutely thrilled that you are allowing me the privilege of introducing your clients to my business building method. As you all know, I'm just on the verge of a brand new offering called Best Beginnings. We start Best Beginnings on September 16th, and I think this new product is life-changing for the entrepreneur. It's based on the method I've developed over the last 15 years called Better, Smarter, Richer, and have used with many of my own personal clients and while teaching and advising at the Small Business Development Center in Portland, Oregon. Today, I want to introduce your people, Doug, to my method. But first, I'll talk a bit about Better, Smarter, Richer, and then I'll explain how and why I saw such an urgent need for Best Beginnings. Yes.
Hey, if I could just interject for a second.
Of course you can.
Share with my friends that might be on this call because they know me. I'd like to just share with them that, Jackie, you were so helpful for me when I was starting this latest business venture, Lighthouse Business Solutions. We first met about 2 or 3 years ago when you were giving a workshop for a group of entrepreneurs, and I was there, and I found that many of the principles that you shared are what made the difference in the success of my business. And so that's why I'm here with you today, is because your methods are tried and true in my life. And so those of you who are listening, let me just endorse Jackie on that level from experience, that it works.
Wow, Doug, I couldn't ask for better than that. That's very wonderful. It pleases me no end, and I'm happy to learn about your ongoing success. I want to talk a little bit more about one more housekeeping item. Susan mentioned several, but I want to encourage you to stay until the end of the webinar if you can, because we also have a special offer for the audience. And I'm really happy that we have such a large audience here, and I know that you're ready to begin, so let's begin. Okay. My clients often tell me that they love the solo business method called Better, Smarter, Richer, but they need help with the beginning steps. And that's what we're going to be working on with Best Beginnings. They feel like they're unsure about how to select the best business for themselves, how to overcome anxieties about asking for money, how to talk about themselves and their brand new business, and how to manage the tasks that they know are necessary, but about which they know next to nothing. I meet literally hundreds of beginning entrepreneurs, and I realize that there's an urgent need for information in what I'm calling Best Beginnings. And this Best Beginnings is a safe and structured method for successfully beginning a business, even if you have no idea what you might be best at or what you need to do to get started from scratch. So I'm going to talk about Better, Smarter, Richer and the Better, Smarter, Richer method for a moment. And I'll tell you what this method is and how it's radically different from traditional teaching about entrepreneurship. No one else is talking about this approach, yet it works, and it works really, really well. Hundreds of thousands of Americans yearn to start their own businesses, and most of them are getting what I think is bad advice on how to proceed. They're told that unless they build a business based on the standard corporate structure, that it will fail. And the corporate structure requires that an entrepreneur build a business that will ultimately have him or her as the president, presiding over a company of managers and workers. That's not what solos do. So if the initial spark for the business was to work hands-on and experience the joy of, say, creating or building pottery, or delivering life coaching seminars, or acting as a cardiologist to business problems, okay? If you follow those traditional models, all the work that you envision yourself doing is going to be done by others. And what that means you as the founder will do is you'll spend your time managing staff and worrying about getting bigger and satisfying investors. This does not work for artists, consultants like Doug, healthcare providers, and many others who have no wish to abandon the creation of their product or service. They want to be hands-on doing it. So I want to remind you again, the standard corporate business model teaches that success lies in hiring others to do the work. How many things do we measure by how many employees you have, or how big you are, how many employees you've got online? Measured all over the place, okay? How many jobs did you create? But that's not working if you are alone, and only you can create and deliver the product or service you want to sell. Doug is the corporate business cardiologist working on problems of the business heart. He is the one to do that. So also, not think just consulting, but think music or writing or art. Too often creatives, encores, and health service providers are told that being successful in a solo business is simply not possible. There are some people who write about business and literally sneer at the idea of a solo business and say, if you are operating a solo business, you really are not in business. Now, I just simply do not believe that that is true. And I have found that a different business method that allows the artist to continue to be an artist and not become an unhappy manager or an overworked, discouraged, starving artist. The Better, Smarter, Richer method, by the way, is also perfect for encores, those over 50 who want to spend their next 30 years doing what they love while securing their retirement finances. Hiring people to do your work is often presented as the only way to succeed in business. The work itself, whether a product or a service, is simply at the bottom of the pyramid, with you, the old entrepreneur at the top, directing the work and a staff of managers, kind of like we're showing in the picture here. Solos are not interested in this or just simply can't do this. They want to do the work, create the art, deliver the services themselves. They don't want to manage a bunch of employees. And I've developed a method that ensures success without abandoning what you love doing, creating and developing your product or service, not managing a staff. I have to tell you, when I talk particularly to encores about this methodology, a look of total relief crosses their faces when they begin to understand that there is a business model where they can get into it and they don't have to hire people in order to build a successful, a financially viable, successful business that pleases their heart. So how's the Better, Smarter, Richer method different? Okay. Well, first of all, you can get paid the fees and prices you deserve for your work. Many artists who try to make a living as artists end up living on a starvation budget. That's why we've got that little crust in the picture. Don't you love that? An unsustainable, bare bones budget that doesn't allow for growth or physical or mental comfort. My Better, Smarter method, Richer method deals with this directly and finds a way for entrepreneurs to be comfortable while working at what they love. You can charge what you are worth. In fact, you must charge what you are worth, because if you don't charge enough money, you're really going to struggle. Today, encores can use the Better, Smarter, Richer method to monetize their expertise. A lot of encores are not ready to retire. We know that there are 78 million baby boomers, and they are turning 65 at the rate of 10,000 a day and are going to continue that for another 14 years. Many of them are not interested in retiring and leaving the workforce. Some of them because they can't afford to retire and they want to keep working. And some of them because this time they want to do something they truly love. My method allows encores to capitalize on the expertise they have spent a lifetime acquiring. There are more. Yes.
I apologize. Just to share with you a thought on that,
please.
that the flow of the baby boomers out of the workforce is a huge drain on intellectual capital in the workforce. And so we, as baby boomers, need to realize that our expertise is valuable.
Amen.
At first it seems that we might be tempted to think, well, I'm not worth X number of dollars per hour, or my product is not worth that much. But when we realize that what's out there now is a diminishing factor of expertise, then it's we realize that we have a lot of value that we can share back into the market as baby boomers.
And Doug, isn't that a wonderful thing to say, you know, instead of reaching 65 or 68 or whatever and being put out to pasture, as they call it, that you really have something to offer. I mean, you have a lifetime of experience, observations, know-how. You also have maturity, you have wisdom, you have good judgment, and you really have something to offer. This is an exciting time.
It is. If I could just share one little experience, I have a class of 12 leadership development people, and they're mostly younger than I am, although a few are closer to my age. But some of the younger ones, we were just discussing a few things, and it dawned on me, these guys do not have the background. We're trying to have a conversation, but the younger folks, they just didn't quite get where we were discussing things because there was a big gap in experience and knowledge there. And so it became really apparent to me that I needed to slow down, back up, and give them more background because they didn't have the years of experience that I did and some of the other class members. So there was an example of what we're talking about.
Boy, you know, we're age counts. Age
Exactly.
matters. And you know, on top of what you're saying on this, Doug, we're living what is being called the longevity bonus. That's an extra 30 years or so of life expectancy that we are the first generation to be able to take advantage of. And it's a result of, good medicine, good food, better working conditions, clean air, et cetera, et cetera. But, we can expect an extra 30 years of life. And I say this is both a gift and a challenge. And it's a wonderful gift because, like you're talking about, we have the opportunity to monetize what we spent a lifetime learning and, and do what we really love and make a difference in the world. And it's a challenge because we have to support ourselves for an additional 30 years, which a lot of people haven't planned on. But to me, it just sounds like a fabulous, fabulous opportunity.
Absolutely.
So as we talk more about the Better, Smarter, Richer method, I love this picture of the cupcake. This my Better, Smarter, Richer method teaches you how to create a business that is centered in your sweet spot and helps you find that sweet spot. The sweet spot is the place where your passion, your talent, and your money meet. If any of those elements is missing from your business, if it's missing from your business, if you don't have passion, talent, and money, you're probably not going to succeed. So finding your sweet spot is at the foundation of your solo success. And remember that the Better, Smarter, Richer method is the underlying philosophy behind our Best Beginnings program. So it's bringing it to Better, Smarter, Richer philosophy to life in a different way. So the Better, Smarter, Richer method is experimental, okay? If often someone starting a new business is told that an extensive written business plan is the only way forward, I just don't believe that. Doug, you told me you have an experience to share around this and writing a big business plan and what's going to happen with your business once you get started. Do you want to share that?
Absolutely. When I was starting this most recent business, I did find that I was off track several times. And I did start with a rough business plan, but it had to be very flexible, and I've changed it many times just in the past 3 years because you have to test out your hypothesis, your ideas for what you think will bring business, what the market needs. You have to test that out. And sometimes you're off track, and I was off track several times. So I highly recommend that people do this, where they start off and test what you're doing, and then refine your business by reviewing the client. The client interactions. Is what you're doing working? Are you making money at it? Yeah.
Absolutely. Are you meeting the mark of what they want and what is going to be valuable to them? And so, just like Doug said, the successful entrepreneur needs to have a general plan of action, but it needs to be short, flexible, and ready to change from one approach, not one business, but from one approach to another based on customer interaction. The successful entrepreneur asks questions, analyzes the marketplace for what is there and what is not there, how can they fill a gap, and changes and adjusts the business to take advantage of what is needed and wanted by the marketplace. I say agility is the best way to find success, not being saddled to following a fixed and immovable business plan. So I'm going to talk about each of the 7 principles of Better, Smarter, Richer, and explain how they relate to the Best Beginnings program. So remember, at the heart of Best Beginnings is the Better, Smarter, Richer method. Best Beginnings is an expansion of the ideas of Better, Smarter, Richer applied directly to imagining and starting your business and putting it on a successful footing from the very beginning. By following the 7 principles in Better, Smarter, Richer, a solopreneur can start and run a successful business. Now, when I'm saying successful, I'm talking about someone who reaches a business that is bringing them $100,000 or more. That's what I mean. It isn't accomplished by taking a magic pill. It takes hard work and deep introspection to be successful. And I'm going to talk a bit in detail, as I said, about each of our steps. Step 1 is focus on only one thing. You cannot be an interior decorator and a massage therapist. or an attorney and a personal trainer. For your business to be successful, you must choose and present yourself to the world as one thing. Of course, you can continue to do your other activities, but do them as a hobby, or do not lead with them as a money-making enterprise. Be just one thing and be very good at it. So Best Beginnings helps you explore and develop your ideas and create your focus. Doug, you had a story to add about this as well, about your lighthouse. Go ahead.
It was kind of amusing. I was at a business function and I met a woman and I asked her what she does, and she kind of paused and was fumbling around. She brought out 3 business cards. I do this, and gave me one business card, explained it. I do this, and I do that. And so now, do you think I can remember any one of those things? I wouldn't be able to even recall one of them. Contrast that with a woman I met just recently who said, "I'm a word nerd."
Oh,
And
nice.
in 2 words, word nerd, she was able to convey that she's a copywriter. She writes articles and she corrects and she edits. So she's a word nerd, and now I remember that. That's so simple. Having a simple focus on only one thing makes you more memorable. And
Absolutely.
when somebody's looking for an expert, they can say, "I know the person."
Absolutely. It's just so important to do that. In fact, you're talking about principle number 2 as well, which is develop a deep and narrow niche of specialty, expertise, and authority on which to offer advice, guidance, and products. So I say, once you have chosen your focus, dig deeper. So if you are a massage therapist, decide to develop your expertise by working with, say, pregnant women or working with sports injuries. If you choose interior decorating, focus on new homes or just on remodel, or maybe on one type of home or a type of furniture or interior. If you are developing your skills and reputation in one area of your focus, you become known for one thing, and it helps you make more money and be remembered. Just as Doug said, he's remembering the word nerd because it was so clear, so concise, so easy that he knows that he's got a specialist. Specialization and expertise lead to financial success. Best Beginnings guides you to your deep and narrow niche.
Yeah, Jackie, if I could add a little bit more.
You bet.
There's an old saying, it's better to fish in a small, deep lake than in a huge, shallow one. And so that's the niche. If I could share a story, I've got a friend of mine had a stroke a few years ago, and he now is paralyzed on half of his body, but his mind still works very clearly. He was a contractor, a commercial general contractor, and so he had a lot of experience in that field, but also a love for woodworking. So now, in his encore solopreneurship, he has purchased what they call a CNC machine, which is computer numeric control. It's basically a robot. You can program with a computer to cut away wood or plastic or metal and make shapes. Well, he was doing this and trying to make a business of it. He happened upon a group of people who really loved one of his products. Talk about a narrow niche. He would make boxes that have a pattern on the cover that could be similar to a quilt. And he found that people who make quilts just loved his boxes, would buy his boxes and store their quilts in them, and the top of the box kind of looked like a quilt. So he found this very, very narrow niche and was able to start to make money just with those people.
Isn't that fantastic?
It's amazing.
It is fantastic. I love those stories. I have many of them as well, and I love your story. So here comes principle number 3. Pricing and billing at a fair rate is absolutely crucial. If you are going to be successful, you must charge enough for your work. I see that the biggest reason that businesses fail is that they do not charge enough money for what they do. They are afraid of rejection. And here is the truth. If you do not charge enough money, you are not considered to be any good. People evaluate us on how much we charge. And if you do not charge enough money, you can't afford to live the life you deserve. You cannot afford to invest in renewal and regeneration. You can't hire, outsource, the help you need to look and be seen as more professional. Best Beginnings is going to help you evaluate and create and calculate the right price and ask for it in a sales situation. So here's principle number 4. Stay on track and avoid mission creep. Now I think you can see that these ideas are in fact radically different from the standard business plans, which are basically designed to raise money from a bank or venture capitalists to start a business. Traditional plans are full of detailed financial analysis, legal terms, and buyout options. They're geared to show growth in product sales and return on investment. This is not what a solo business is about. Certainly it's about making money, but it is also about joy and satisfaction. Staying on track is important. You will build your business because you will always be doing your best work, what you love to do, what you are best at. If you lose focus or direction, you'll find yourself doing work because it came along, not because it is your best. Straying away from your focus confuses your clients and clouds your reputation. Best Beginning gives you tools and techniques to stay on track. So here is principle 5. Succinctly talk about your business and distinguish it and you with what I call your unique value proposition. Your unique value proposition is how you talk about yourself. Strangers will give you the gift of 4.2 seconds of attention span. Attention span is absolutely the most rare commodity on the planet. When you are networking or talking to possible clients, you must interest them or intrigue them quickly and succinctly. Your unique value proposition not only focuses the conversation and gets people interested, it helps you stay focused and on track. This is one of the most important things you must be able to do. Doug, you talked about how important this has been for you, networking. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, what I did, and I recommend this for all solopreneurs when you're starting off, is I joined some chambers of commerce and a couple of networking groups, and so I had lots of practice at the beginning with what you've heard of called the elevator speech. So the way that you can tell about your business in about 10 seconds in a way that catches people's attention. And so that allowed me to try a lot of different taglines or elevator speeches. And over time, I only found one that elicited an actual response where people wanted to know more. And that's when I said, I'm like a doctor for business. I diagnose and treat business diseases. And I've further changed that to cardiologist because it's diseases of the heart. It has to do with emotional intelligence. That is what I do. But that was the only response I found after trying about 20 that actually elicited a response from anybody. And so practicing your elevator speech so that you can say succinctly in a way that captures people's attention and interest what you do, that takes practice and trial and error. So that's what I did, and I suggest that to others, is to get into networking situations where you have that opportunity often.
Yes, and I just want to remind everyone that Best Beginnings helps you develop your unique value proposition. That's a big part of it. So here's our principle 6. Identify and target your most likely customers. Often we fear marketing because we think we have to do what Coca-Cola and Walmart and McDonald's do. We have to reach every single person, all 7.2 billion of us on the planet. This is not true for you and your solo business. Your best marketing is to sell to those most likely to buy from you. Well, who is that? The people who are your best customers. the people for whom you developed and designed your work in the first place. Create a clear description of who is your target customer. Know their age, gender, interests, and go after them. Figure out where they hang out, what they read, what else they buy, and focus your marketing efforts on them. Doug, you said that you had a story to tell about this as well. Someone that you know that was having a hard time choosing their target customer.
Yeah. I was giving a workshop on business strategy at Mercy Corps, and there was a woman there who makes jewelry out of animal bones. Very unique. She had a passion for it, and she also had in her mind a specific demographic that she was going for. Basically, people like her, young and maybe a little eclectic or unique in some way, and maybe the goth type of demeanor or dress. So when people started buying from her, it ended up being older women who were buying this jewelry, and she didn't like it. She didn't want those women to buy her jewelry. I thought it was so funny that she seemed to be almost upset that her target demographic that she had decided she wanted to sell to was not buying. So isn't that funny? So I encouraged her to change her target customer and go for the people who seem to be buying.
What a concept.
Yeah.
I love your story. And I want to remind you that Best Beginnings is going to help you identify and pursue your target customer. You know, the people who love what you do and are good customers for you. And here's Principle 7. Develop and use a keen business mindset to support financial success. This is a mindset, okay? Remember that no matter how small your enterprise is, it is a business. This is your business, and it needs to have financial information. It must have a pricing system, a set of books, invoices, cash collection plan, packages of service, and reports to you as the owner so that you can hold it accountable to doing what you want it to do for you. You must hold it accountable to making money. Yes.
You just scared me. You just scared me. I don't want to be an accountant. I'm a solopreneur. I don't want to be a marketer.
You don't have to do the accounting, but you have to have a business mindset, Doug.
Yeah, I get you. I'm just re-emphasizing what you said earlier, that, you know, outsourcing the things that you don't know how to do or do well.
Yes.
Is really important. And the keen business mindset is really understanding that part where what I do well is this and what I don't do well is that, and so I'm going to outsource the other things that I don't do.
Amen. And I want to remind our listeners again that Best Beginnings gives you tools and worksheets that turn your ideas into a business. We're not going to leave you stranded around this topic. So the Best Beginnings webinar series is designed to guide you through understanding the concepts of the Better, Smarter, Richer method and integrating them into every phase of your business: ideation, design, and implementation. Best Beginnings uses these 7 principles and recognizes that without a successful beginning, few solo businesses are going to succeed. Now, you've probably heard of many people who've started lots of businesses. The ideas came tumbling out as they take shots in the dark and hope to hit the target. Without thought, research, self-awareness, and a host of other steps, no business will be successful. But with limited money and time, solos can't afford to waste those precious items with dozens of mistakes and false starts. And on the other hand, there's a lot of people who are simply stuck. They know that they want to start a business, but they have absolutely no idea how to begin. So whether you have too many ideas for your business or none at all, other than desire, which is a big deal, Best Beginnings is for you. Best Beginnings also debunks the myths of several wrong ways of building your solo business. It helps you focus your ideas and develop the best idea for you. It's a method that doesn't require a huge infusion of cash or an MBA, but can be accomplished by you if you are disciplined, have a willingness to work hard, and to take a hard and honest look at yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, and your skills. Best Beginnings addresses a second solo misconception: traditional financing methods. A lot of people come and say, I have no money to begin. But Best Beginnings is a method that doesn't require a huge infusion of cash or an MBA. Your most basic capital comes from your skill and your knowledge and your experience, what you know in your lifetime. And if additional cash is needed, we help you focus on the non-traditional ways of raising money that are so available today, such as crowdfunding and the non-traditional lenders who see the value in working with the burgeoning number of solo businesses. Here's the system of Best Beginnings. Starting a solo business could be considered like a cyclical process of plan, do, check, act, which actually originated as a principle of process improvement in the total quality management revolution. This process is what Best Beginnings has adopted. Best Beginnings is a method and a system. It isn't a magical process that guarantees you 6 figures in a few months, but it can give you a comfortable living doing exactly what you love. You can live your dream and beginning it very late in life. So let's talk about this system for a minute, where you plan and then you take action, you check it against your clients, and then you act and you create a system. I had a client this morning I was working with, and he's launching a web-based business. It's going to be, he started his blog, he put out his first blogs on the internet, and darned if he didn't get a comment back from somebody who was telling him how wrong he is with what he had to say. And he told me that the first thing that happened was that he reacted and he got very angry. And he was going to send a very nasty reply to the man that replied to his blog. And then he said, wait a minute, I'm in the do stage here. And what that means is I'm looking for referrals or feedback from my clients. I'm trying to figure out how they are going to react to what I'm putting out there. So instead, he sent a reply that said, I am so sorry that I said this in a way that you thought I was doing this, this, and this, where in fact my intent was to do this, this, and this. And I'm going to shape my responses, he says, from now on to take into account more how the listener is hearing me than just how I want to talk. So already his business and his blogs and his messages are being shaped by his customers. That's what we're trying to do in the Plan, Do, Check, Act method. And we talk a lot about that in working on a solo business and using the program of Best Beginnings. Okay? Get feedback and adjust to what the client is responding to, rather than putting in a great big formal business plan at the beginning and making sure that you have to follow it. Here's another piece of Best Beginnings, which is absolutely full of worksheets and advice and true client stories, just like we've been telling this morning. The Best Beginnings webinars include a package of worksheets that we will talk about during the course of each webinar. You will be able to download that package as part of your program registration. Then you can use them and work with them each week as we take on another lesson in the program. Very hands-on. You'll be able to use these worksheets and apply the lessons that you're getting to your specific situation, which is what you want. Okay? So Best Beginnings supports your thinking and helps you monetize your lifetime of skills, observations, experiences, and knowledge. Best Beginnings is a method and a system. So I'm going to promise you that if you do your part, this method will work for you regardless of the content of your business and what you want to do. The secret, again, of the Best Beginnings program is that it draws upon your life experience, your observations, your practical knowledge and skills. It assumes that you know a lot about your work. It supports you as you imagine, create, and develop the business you have always wanted. So we begin at the very beginning. Let's talk some more about what is Best Beginnings. It's 7-hour-long live webinars covering some of the topics that we've got listed here. We begin at the very beginning with a detailed instruction and a lot of interactive work on how to find what you are best qualified to do, most excited about, and will bring you the most rewards emotionally and financially. We look carefully at your past and into your future to bring together a list of ideas that you can refine and solidify. We look at the world of marketing to understand how the internet has transformed how customers and providers find one another. Pricing is a huge bugaboo for most beginning entrepreneurs. Asking for money is always fraught with emotional baggage and doubt, so we work through all the pitfalls and transform how you see money rendered for services and how you get out of the starvation mentality. No starving artists. Talking to customers in their language is the key to making lasting connections and building relationships. Again, we have worksheets and practices that will make this process easy for you to understand and implement. Without answers to these and other questions, a new solo entrepreneur will be very hard-pressed to succeed, and we want you to succeed. So I'm going to talk about the benefits from Best Beginnings. And as we move forward, you might be asking yourself, well, how much is it? When do we start? What's my obligation? The price for the full program of 7 live interactive webinars is $497. We begin on September 16th, 2015, and will be live once a week for the next 7 weeks between noon and 1 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. The program is full of worksheets, which you can download as a packet as you register for the course, and we will show you how to use them as we go along. Because the webinars are live, you'll be able to ask questions. This is a tremendous value. Remember, my approach allows you to start a business without having to hire any employees. This is perfect for those who want to be financially successful, hands-on, doing what they love. If you are a creative, let's say a writer, a photographer, a potter, a painter, a dancer, this program is perfect for you. Creatives must operate as solo businesses, and in order to be financially successful, they must also overcome the old programming that says, if you are not a starving artist, you've somehow sold out. You've just sold out on your art. Let's not have any more starving artists. If you are a solo professional and you want to make more money in your practice, Best Beginnings is for you. If you are an attorney, an accountant, a consultant, a coach, Best Beginnings will help you narrow your focus on the right target customer for you, name and articulate your unique value as a professional, understand how to find help during busy times without hiring employees, and at the same time, charge enough money for your success. You can also benefit from Best Beginnings if you're a healthcare professional. If you're an acupuncturist, ND, massage therapist, caregiver, nutritionist, nurse practitioner, Best Beginnings will help you focus your practice on the right customers, create the words that attract the right customers, package your services to support the revenue you want, and charge appropriately for what you do, no matter what everyone else is charging. We'll help you articulate your value. You will be able to present yourself as worth the higher fees you deserve to be paid. You will benefit from Best Beginnings if you've always wanted to start a financial career, financially successful, if you wanted to start a career and just didn't know how to begin. Lots of people want to be in business for themselves but never knew how to begin. The Best Beginnings series will take you through the process of ideation, exploring lots of different possible ideas, and choosing the one that is most exciting and viable for you. Then we will take you literally step by step how to begin. You'll benefit from Best Beginnings if you want to grow your business but can't think how to do it without hiring employees. The Best Beginnings program teaches the model developed in Better, Smarter, Richer called the water bug model. This model shows you how to spend most of your time doing what it is you are best at and outsourcing other tasks needed to support the business. So Doug, you told me you had experience with this, working with the water bug model. Got a story to tell?
I do. Yeah, when you're starting off, of course, the budget is probably tight. You've probably got more time than you have money, and so you may start off in the first few weeks with trying to do everything yourself. Then you realize, at least I did, that you really don't have that much time in the day to be the marketer, to be the accountant, to be the creative, to do the research on customers, all the things that go into a new business. There just isn't enough time in the day. And so for me, it was the realization that I need to hire or outsource some of this work to somebody, so that I don't have to spend all my time doing it. I want to do what I do best.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And you've got such a wonderful specialty. If you devote your time to it, how lucky your clients are. They've got somebody that is absolutely focused on bringing that optimal leadership skill to the teams with whom you work, not trying to do something like send out a mailing or build your own website. Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. If I could just add one more thing.
Yes, please.
I thought is that I think there's probably nothing more important in starting a new business than your commitment level. And there is a strong correlation in the business research between commitment level and success. So yes, you have to be the one who guides the business in every aspect, but you don't have to do every aspect. But your commitment level needs to be that failure is not an option. Unless this is a hobby business, if you want to make money at your business, you need to have such a commitment level that I will do anything within ethical bounds to make this business work. I will spend 18-hour days if I need to. This is the kind of commitment that I think it takes. And you know what? You mentioned when you were introducing me, Jackie, that some of my businesses have been more successful than others.
Mm-hmm.
The most successful ones, and there were probably 3 that I could say were very successful, those were the ones where failure was not an option. I had nothing in my mind about I'll just try this for a while, or this is just a nice idea, or I'll see how this works. It was, no, this is my livelihood. I will make this work. So to me, that's key in starting a business.
Amen. I love it. So back to raising your prices, and this is a place where Best Beginnings is going to help you a lot. This is a real strong point for me. I totally believe this. I tell people I'm known as Jackie Raise Your Prices Peterson. And in the Best Beginnings program, we're going to encourage you to charge what you are really worth. This is one of the ideas that I got from you that first day we met. Did you raise your prices?
Yes.
And you got better clients, didn't you?
Absolutely. And this was a life changer for me, a turning point in my business. So thank you for that.
That's wonderful. I just so believe in this, that if you charge what you are really worth and raise your prices and they reflect what you are really worth, not only do you do better financially, but you get better clients and you get more fun work. And I've just got to tell you, we will help you in Best Beginnings overcome the fear of moving forward and charging what you're worth and getting more financially successful. So some people in Best Beginnings, I found some people simply do not know where to begin. They say, what do I do first? And we're going to help you in Best Beginnings take the right first steps and begin the very beginning with the genesis of your business and bring it from an idea and manifest it into reality. So pricing, I'm going to talk about that again. We will talk about the value of your experience, your technique, your talent, your unique skill set, and encourage you to add those non-material elements to your pricing equation. We're going to offer some methods to overcome the fear of asking for what you are really worth. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about marketing. This is one fear that also people have a lot. Today, in marketing, it is as much about your customer finding you as it is about you finding your customer. we're going to talk about tools, methods, and approaches for you to make sure that you are visible and easy to find by the people to whom you want to sell. Doug, is this working for you?
Absolutely. The way this works for me is that internet marketing is key, and being able to have the keywords on your website and then add content continually, because that helps with people's searches. When people are searching for you and your website has been added to recently, it will rise up in the search criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing our customers and how we want them to find us, what words will they be looking for to find our business, is key in this successful start of a business.
And it might have been 20 years ago that people got on the internet and searched for management consultant or leadership consultant, but now they get on and they search for leadership consultant, emotional intelligence, team building, Northwest U.S., 12 years of experience, and they set all these qualifiers in it, and I actually call that surgical marketing. And people are looking for you, and what you have to do is create your marketing where when they're looking, you pop up and you stand in front of them. We talk a lot about that. Okay.
Good.
So you're going to benefit from Best Beginnings if you want to, as I call it, speak the language of your customer, because specific customers want specific things, and we're going to talk about how to use the language your customer understands. And first, you have to know who your customer is, and then you have to find out what is important to them and what leads them to buy. And we will channel your messages right to that person who is looking for you, just like you're, as I say, looking for them. So I'm going to say, I hope you're as excited about this, anywhere near as excited about this as I am, because I'm going to encourage you to buy now. And you can sign up at bettersmarterricher.com, my website. The link is /Best Beginnings. We start September 16th, and I just want to encourage you to take this step that I can tell you will change your life. We begin in September 16th, 2015, and we run for 7 weeks through October 28th. We begin at noon Pacific Daylight Time each Wednesday with a live online meeting. You will have homework and worksheets to use to think about and to discover and design your business. If you subscribe to Best Beginnings, there will be recorded. You will have access to each of the recordings. You don't have to get it all in the first week. You can play it again. You can go back. You can go forwards. You can go backwards. You can use the worksheets. You can think about what you're doing. So, you really have access to a tremendous amount of help and information.
Jackie,
now, yes, of course you can.
I would love to just tell everybody listening that when I started my business, I spent tens of thousands of dollars in trying to learn how to run it, how to market it, how to do all these things. I paid many different people a lot of money, and what Jackie has here is such a small price for the value of it. The things that I learned that really made a difference came from Jackie, and so I would drop $497 in a heartbeat rather than, if I could do it over, rather than pay all those thousands of dollars to all those other people. So just let me encourage everybody listening that this is a great deal.
Doug, thank you. I couldn't ask for a nicer testimonial than that because I'm such an admirer of your work. But all of you, I'm going to say, don't delay. Do it now. And here's the special offer. If you are one of the first 10 to sign up after this webinar, you will receive a 10% discount, bringing your price to $447, even a better price. So just sign up right now. And I want to tell you that, again, today's webinar is sponsored by Doug Lundrigan and his company, Lighthouse Business Solutions. So here's a great plug for him. Remember the business cardiologist and problems of the heart? I love that. So, again, buy now. It's a method and a system. It isn't a magical process, but it is one that can give you a good living doing exactly what you love. You can live your life, you can live your dream, and you can begin living it late in life. It does not matter. So I'm engaged from students from start to finish. I answer questions, I lend encouragement, and I offer a helping hand over the hard parts. I help you through the worksheets. I help you with good advice and practical experiences and great stories. So I promise you, if you subscribe to this webinar series, that if you do your part, the method will work for you regardless of what you want to do. So I want to thank you for tuning in today. And Susan, do we have any questions?
Yes, we do, and let me start. The very first question is from a listener who was concerned about managing the money, and they just didn't think that they had any financial abilities at all, and that especially when it came to money, their mind just went blank. Sounds like me. And I am hoping that you can help them understand how Best Beginnings would help with that.
Well, there's a lot of help with that. And let me say first that it isn't that I expect you to manage the money. I expect you to have a business mindset. It's different. A business mindset says, I am creating this entity because I want it to do something for me. And that something I want it to do is to produce a stream of revenue for me, or a certain amount of money over a certain period of time that I want to use, to cover my expenses and support my personal life. As far as managing it, like the bookkeeping, the invoicing, the billings, the putting the money in the bank, the doing the tax return, all of that can be hired out. In fact, I encourage it to be hired out. I'm a great believer in what I call the water bug model, where you hire people to help you do with the things that you are not good at, so that you can make money doing the things you are good at. So you don't have to manage the money hands-on in the way we're talking about.
Jackie, here's a question from a listener, Mitch. And he asks, I am a single person employed full-time and need to continue in my job so that I can pay my bills and have health care coverage until I can get Medicare. Is this program workable for someone who wants to start building a business to prepare for leaving the workforce? Great question, Mitch.
Yes, Mitch, it is appropriate for that. Most solopreneurs start with their planning and developing what it is they want to do, and they've still got a day job of some sort, as we call it, okay? And what happens is that we're also going to help you make that transition from your day job into being more full-time, little bit at a time, more into what you create as a solo. And if you're pouring your heart and soul into it, like Doug was talking about, I think we can make that transition quicker than you might think, okay? Because you love what you're doing, and that energy comes across, and you begin to attract customers to you faster than you thought you would, particularly if you are excited about what you're doing, you're confident about what you're doing, and you just do the best job possible. What's going to happen is your first client is going to lead to your second and your third client, and they're going to lead to your next client, and pretty soon you're going to say, I don't have time for my day job anymore. And then we'll work with you on some strategies of maybe cutting back what you're doing in your day job, maybe finding alternatives for your health care coverage, because there are, especially under the Affordable Care Act. So we'll help you customize this transition just for you. So definitely the program is appropriate.
Okay, does that answer your question, Mitch? So let's just see, another question has come in. And this, Jackie, I know is a question so close to your heart. I was always told I could never support myself as an artist, and I actually went and got an MBA.
Wow.
So are you telling me that it is possible for me to follow this dream at long last of becoming a working artist?
Oh, absolutely. Particularly with my encores, I've had people that are coming in and they're saying, I've spent my entire career being an EMT or a bank loan officer or some such, and now I want to do my art, and I need my art to make me some money, and I want to do my art. How can we make this happen? I just think the artists and creatives are so important to our society. And maybe in the past, I don't know, maybe in the past it was true that an artist couldn't count on their work supporting them, but that is not true anymore for a couple of reasons. One is, I think as a society, we've really begun to recognize the importance that the artists and the creatives bring to our society, helping us see ourselves, helping us move forward, helping us understand visually often, whether it's in dance or whether it's in painting or pottery, helping us understand the situations that we're in. They help us interpret what's going on in our society, more important than ever. And people are buying art, and I think that the internet and the internet tools have made it possible to sell our art to a much broader market than used to be possible. If you live in a little town in rural Oregon, you're not constrained to selling your art in a little town in rural Oregon. You can reach the entire world via the internet. So there's many things that are available now that did not used to be available.
Okay, Mitch had a follow-up question, and so I will ask you this. Besides the webinar, are there other supports or an accountability group?
Mitch, I intend to create one that follows up with the Best Beginnings program. This is our first launch of this webinar series because I saw such a need for it. So as soon as we get all of our people together into the webinar on September 16th and we begin our process, we will create an ongoing accountability and follow-up group. I think that's extremely important. In other programs that I have offered, most notably Better, Smarter, Richer, which I offer as either a 4-week or a 7-week study group with groups, we have a monthly follow-up that works with that group. I'm just a great believer in that. So good question, and yes, we will do that.
And I also wanted to add, Jackie, that the worksheets themselves, if you fill them out, and when you come back the following week, Jackie will check
yes,
to
I
make
will.
sure that you've done your quote homework and that you're ready to move forward to the next step.
Great.
I just wanted to say something. We're running out of time here. There's another question that has come in that says, "What I'm planning to go on vacation in the middle of September. I won't be able to be at the first webinar, and I'm so upset that I'm going to miss the first one." And so, Jackie, perhaps you can advise this person.
Yes, that's a very good question because, 7 weeks can be a long time in all of our busy lives. So what we have done is we have set this webinar up with a program where it is being recorded, and once you are into the program, you've signed up, and you have your link to join it, you will be able to use that to access the recorded programs and all of the pieces of that particular session of the program, and as many times as you want and as often as you want and whatever order that you want. So missing out on one of the live ones like you're talking about only means that you won't have access to those questions at the moment that they get asked, but you will have access to everything that has gotten recorded, and it will be available for you with your link key that will allow you into the webinar program.
Well, I see we've gone to the hour point, and I would just like to encourage our attendees to go to www.bettersmarterricher.com/best-beginnings slash, and you will find out more about this program. And if you're among the first 10 people to sign up, you will get a 10% discount. And so for me, this is goodbye. I'm sure Jackie wants to wrap things up and say goodbye too.
I want to first of all thank our listeners for tuning in for this hour. I hope you're as excited about this program as I am. And Doug, I want to thank you so much. Your stories have enriched this in ways that are just unbelievable. It's wonderful to have, a real business person, not that I'm not, have another real business person talking about their experiences and, sharing your great stories. It's been absolutely terrific, and I thank you, and I wish every success to Lighthouse Business Services. Goodbye.
Thanks so much, Becky.
Yes. Goodbye.